we concluded with standard deviation. So here a very brief summary of the chapter. So the standard deviation or the sigma is also denoted by sigma is given by under root summation x minus x bar whole square divided by n for data without frequency. It can also be the formula can also alternatively used as sigma is equal to under root summation x square divided by n minus summation x by n square. This also for data without frequency. For data with frequency, standard deviation or sigma can be written as under root summation fx square divided by summation f minus summation fx divided by summation f whole square. This for a data with frequency. Now let's say we change the origin of the given data. We suppose we have a data with frequency and we change its origin by a. So standard deviation of x can be given by under root summation ft square divided by summation f minus summation ft by summation f whole square, where d is equal to x minus a. Here the change of origin doesn't change the value of the standard deviation and we get the whatever required value of standard deviation we need. Again, now we consider the scale and origin of the data has been changed. We suppose we have a data with frequency and we change the origin and scale for our own comfort. Let's say we draw a new variable d is equal to x minus a divided by I, where a denotes a change in origin and I denotes a change in scale. So here the standard deviation will be given by under root summation ft square divided by summation f minus summation ft divided by summation f whole square into I. So the change of origin here again doesn't make any difference, but the change of scale should be accounted for here. So as we have divided the entire thing by I, here we multiply the entire thing by I. So we get the value of the required standard deviation. Please keep this in mind. Now variance is denoted as sigma square is the square of the standard deviation, or is given by the SD whole square, or is also given by sigma square. What we have to do, we square all these things up, we get the variance. We just have to remove this under root by squaring it, we get the variance. So this is for the standard deviation. We stop here with standard deviation and start a new chapter today, that is correlation. So what is correlation? Correlation is a statistical tool which studies the relationship between two variables. If we have two sets of variables and if the change in one variable is causing a change in another variable, then we say that the variables are correlated. If two sets of variables vary in such a way that changes of one set are related by the changes in the other, then these sets are said to be correlated. Means the changes in one set of the data set are related by the changes other. We say the two variables are correlated. So if the changes in one set of data doesn't relate to the change in the other set of data, we say that the two variables are uncorrelated. That is, the correlation between the two variables is zero. If a change in if a positive change in one set of data is causing a positive change in the other set of data, that is the other variable, then we say that the two variables are positively correlated. If the positive change in one set of data or one variable causes a negative change in the other variable, then we say that the two variables are uncorrelated. So if we have to give some examples of correlation, we can take any two variables like the height and weight of a group of people. Let us consider the height and weight of a group of people. Uh, it may usually be noticed that the people with the greater with the larger or greater height have a larger and greater weight. So here we can ordinarily say that height and weight are positively correlated. Another example, if we see, we can look at the price of petrol and the sale of automobile vehicles. So higher the price of petrol, the lower will be the sales in the number of cars. Okay, so the higher the price of petrol, there will be a lower sales of cars. So we can say that the price of petrol and the sales of cars are negatively correlated. And uncorrelated values, let's say the height of people, and here the sales of cars. Here the height of the people doesn't influence the sales of the car at all. The people uh, the height of the people may vary positively or negatively. That will not increase the uh, number of car sales or purchase. That is, these two variables are nowhere related to each other. That is, the change in one variable doesn't relate to the change in other variables. So these two variables are perfectly uncorrelated. So these were few examples of correlation: negative, positive, and zero correlation. So we will discuss few ways to measure correlation. There are usually we use three different methods to measure correlation. The first one is the scatter diagram method. That is not very difficult. I will send you one page of PDF for the same, so that you can look at it and understand. It is very easy, and you can read through it and understand. The second and the most important is Karl Pearson's measure of correlation, which we will discuss today and one more following video. And the third method is the method of rank correlation, that we will again discuss in the further coming videos. So Karl Pearson came up with a formula that could give us a measure of correlation. And what was that formula? Karl Pearson defined correlation, which is denoted by R, as covariance between x and y divided by standard deviation of x and standard deviation of y. So it is written as covariance of x and y divided by sigma x into sigma y. So sigma x and sigma y are here the standard deviations of x and y, and COV x comma y is the covariance between x and y. Here we are measuring the correlation between two variables x and y. So now covariance of x and y, I think this is the first time you are hearing the term covariance between x and y. It is given by the formula 1 by n sigma or summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar. I repeat, covariance of x and y is given by 1 by n summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar, where x bar is the mean of x and y bar is the mean of y. So, and standard deviation of x we already know is given by 1 by n summation x minus x bar whole square, and standard deviation of y is given by under root 1 by n summation y minus y bar whole square. So this we already know till now. So we put the value of covariance of x between x and y, sigma x and sigma y, in this formula, and we reduce it into a more convenient form. Therefore, R, that signifies correlation, is equal to 1 by n summation x minus x bar from here into y minus y bar. This is the covariance. We replace it by this, and here we replace sigma x and sigma y by these values. We take an aggregate under root. Since they are multiplied, they can be written under a common under root. So sigma x is under root 1 minus summation x minus x bar whole square, and your standard deviation of y is 1 minus summation y minus y bar whole square. So since these two are multiplied, we can use one common under root sign here. So if we multiply 1 by n and 1 by n, we get 1 by n square. We take it out of the square root, it becomes 1 by n again. This 1 by n and the 1 by n, it cancels out, and we finally get summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by under root summation x minus x bar square into summation y minus y bar whole square. So this is the common this is the most basic formula of standard of correlation coefficient given by Karl Pearson. So these derivations and all is not important. What you need to keep in mind is this and this. The formula of correlation R is equal to summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by summation x minus x bar whole square into summation y minus y bar whole square. If you are confused here, it is x bar and this is y bar. So this is the most basic formula of deriving the correlation coefficient, but we have an alternate formula that makes our works way too easier in finding the correlation coefficient, and as such we most commonly use that formula. That may look a little bigger than the other formula, but it is more convenient than the other formula to use. So we usually use this formula to find the correlation coefficient. So R here, that is the correlation coefficient, is equal to n into summation x into y minus summation x into summation y divided by under root n summation x square minus summation x whole square into n summation y square minus summation y whole square. This entire thing will be under this root. So this entire thing will be under square root. So again I repeat, correlation coefficient R is equal to n into summation xy minus summation x into summation y divided by under root n summation x square minus summation x whole square into n summation y square minus summation y whole square. So by the way, the difference between summation x square and summation x whole square is that when we are finding summation x square, First we take out the, in a table we have x, we then find out x square and we add it all up to get summation x square. But this summation x whole square is, we just first add up all the x without finding x square. I repeat, we just add up all the x and then find the square of it. So these two terms are different. Summation x square is the addition of all the values are under x square, and summation x whole square is the addition of all the x that is been squared. Again, summation y square is the same. We will first find y square, we will add all the y square up and then we get summation y square. But summation y whole square is when we just add y first and take the square of summation. We get summation y after adding all the y's and we take the square of whatever we get. So this will look later. First we'll try to solve or find out the correlation coefficient using this simple formula. We use this the most basic formula to find the correlation coefficient first. We don't usually use this formula because for this we have to make a lot of columns in a table and the calculations are get little more complex. If we use this formula, we don't have to make so many columns in a table and the calculations are little more easier than this. So we take an example. Find the coefficient of correlation for the given data between x and y. So we are given two variables x and y and we need to find the correlation coefficient between the two. So x we are given 57, 58, 59, 59, 60, 61, 62, 64. Y is given as 67, 68, 65, 68, 72, 72, 69 and 71. So what we do is we first draw a column x and we draw a column y. So we write down all the values of x in here: 57, 58, 59, 59, 60, 61, 62 and 64. And we write all the values of y, that is 67, 68, 65, 68, 72, 72, 69 and 71. So by the formula of correlation that we are going to use, R is equal to x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by under root summation x minus x bar whole square into summation y minus y bar whole square. So here the first thing that we need is x bar and y bar to find x minus x bar, y minus y bar, x minus x bar square and y minus y bar square. So what we do, we first add up all the x to find summation x and thereby x bar. So we add 57, 58, 59, 59, 60, 61, 62, 64. Together we get summation x is equal to 480. We add all this up, we get 480, that is summation x. Now from this we find x bar. What is x bar? Is equal to summation x by n. What is n? The number of observations. Number of observations is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 observations. So summation x by n is equal to 480 divided by 8 is equal to 60. Similarly, to find y bar, we first find summation y. We add all this up, we get summation y is equal to 552. We add all these values up. So y bar is equals to summation y divided by n, that is 552 divided by 8. The value of n we have already found out here. So 552 divided by 8 is equal to 69. So now since we already have uh, x bar and y bar, we first find x minus x bar and y minus y bar. So x minus x bar, I am very sorry, in this formula you will have a summation sign out here. I forgot to write that down. Please notice you write down summation x over here. Please remember to add summation x over here. I repeat, I forgot to write summation x over here. So first we need to find x minus x bar. What we do? X minus x bar is this minus x bar. X bar is 60. So 50. So 57 minus 60 is minus 3. 58 minus 60 is minus 2. 59 minus 60 is minus 1. 59 minus 60 is again minus 1. 60 minus 60 is 0. 61 minus 60 is 1. 62 minus 60 is 2. 64 minus 60 is 4. So we got x minus x bar. Now y minus y bar, we have the values of y over here and y bar we have here as 69. We subtract 69 from each of these values, we get y minus y bar. So 67 minus 69 minus 2, 68 minus 69 minus 1, 65 minus 69 minus 4, and so on. We get minus 1, 3, 3, 0 and 2. So this is simple. So for the first thing we have to find x minus x bar whole square. So x minus x bar whole square is just the square of it. Minus 3 square becomes 9, minus 2 square becomes 4, minus 1 square becomes 1, minus 1 square becomes 1, 0 square becomes 0, 1 square becomes 1, 2 square becomes 4, 4 square becomes 16. We add all this up, we get summation x minus x bar whole square. Since this is x minus x bar square, adding all this gives us summation x minus x bar square whole square is equal to 36. Again we square all these values up, we get y minus y bar whole square. This is y minus y bar, we square it up, we get y minus y bar square. So minus 2 square is 4, minus 1 square is 1, minus 4 square is 16, minus 1 square is 1, minus 3 square is 9, 3 square is 9, 0 square is 0, 2 square is 4. We add all this up, we get my summation y minus y bar whole square is equal to 44. Again I have forgotten to write squared here. It will be y summation y minus y bar whole square is equal to 44. So please make a correction here. Here I have forgotten to write square whole square. You will write whole square here. Please follow that. It is my mistake. I forgot to write. You should write it. So you add everything up, you will get summation y minus y bar whole square is equal to 44. Now to find summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar, we multiply x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So minus 3 into minus 2, 6, minus 2 into minus 1, 2, minus 1 into minus 4, 4, minus 1 into 1, 1, 0 into 3, 0, 1 into 3, 3, 2 into 0, 0 and 4 into 2, 8. We add all this up, we get summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So you add all this up, you will get 24. So we now write down the formula. Therefore R or correlation coefficient is equal to summation. I forgot to write summation here. Please, I repeat again, write a summation here. X minus x bar into summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by summation x minus x bar whole square into y minus y bar whole square. So we put on the values. Summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar is 24. We write 24 here. Under root summation x minus x bar whole square is 36. We write 36. Into summation y minus y bar whole square is 44. We write 44. This is, we multiply these two, it is equal to 24 into divided by under root 1584 is equal to 24 divided by 39.8 is equal to 0.603. So this is how we calculate the correlation coefficient. We have another example here. We will see here. I hope I have not made the similar mistakes. So find the correlation coefficient between x and y. Here x is given as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Y is given as 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, 31 and 34. The first thing that we always do, we write x and y. We make two separate columns for x and y. X here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 as we have copied down from here in a column, and y again from here we write down it in a column form 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, 31 and 34. Now we write down the formula. Therefore R or correlation is equal to summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by under root summation x minus x bar whole square into y minus y bar whole square. So first again we'll have to find out x bar. So x bar is given by summation x by n. We add this, we get summation x is equal to 66. You add all this, you will get 66. So and n is the number of observations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. We have 11 observations. So summation x by n will be equal to summation x is 66 and n is 11. So summation x by n will be equal to summation 66 by 11, that is equal to 6. So x bar here is equal to 6. Now again for y bar, we add all the observations under y to get summation y, which will be equal to 209. You add all this up, you will get 209. And again n is the number of observations is equal to 11. So y bar is equal to summation y by n is equal to 209 by 11 is equal to 19. Please calculate it again. If you have any, if I have made any mistakes, please try to correct it. Now again we need three values here: summation x minus x bar whole square, summation y minus y bar whole square, and summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So for all these three observations, first thing we need to find out is x minus x bar. So we find out x minus x bar. So for x minus x bar, we just subtract x bar from the values of x given here. So x bar, or the mean, is 6. We subtract from all the values of x. 1 minus 6 is minus 5, 2 minus 6 is minus 4, 3 minus 6 is minus 3, and so on. We get all these values. Next, for y minus y bar, we subtract y bar that is given. We have found out y bar is 19. We subtract 19 from the values of here, the y given here. So 4 minus 19 is minus 15, 7 minus 19 is minus 12, 10 minus 19 is minus 9, and so on. We get the value of y minus y bar. Next we find y minus y bar whole square. So y minus y bar, x minus x bar whole square. So x minus x bar whole square is the square of the values under x minus x bar. So minus 5 squared is 25, minus 4 squared is 16, minus 3 squared is 9, minus 2 squared is 4, minus 1 squared is 1, 0 squared 0, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25. So you have x minus x bar whole square. You add all this up, you will get summation x minus x bar whole square is equal to 110. You will add it, you will get the value yourself. Now again it's time to find y minus y bar whole square. So minus 15 squared is 225, minus 12 squared is 144, minus 9 squared is 81, minus 6 squared is 36, minus 3 squared is 9, 0 squared 0, 3 squared 9 again, 6 square 36, 9 square 81, 12 square 144, 15 square 225. We add all these things up, we will get summation y minus y bar whole square, that is equal to 919. The final thing we need is summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So we find first x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So this into this will give us x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So x minus x 5 into minus 5 into minus 15 75, minus 4 into minus 12 48, minus 3 into minus 9 27, minus 2 into minus 6 12, minus 1 into minus 3 3, 0 into 0 0, 1 into 3 3, 6 into 2 into 6 12, 3 into 9 27, 4 into 12 48, and 5 into 15 again 75. We add all this up, we get summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar, which is equal to 330. You will add all this up, you will get 330. Now what we do, we simply put the values of the expressions in the formula. Therefore r is equal to summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by under root summation x minus x bar whole square into summation y minus y bar whole square. We put the values, summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar is 330, summation then we'll have under root here, summation x minus x bar whole square is 110 into summation y minus y bar is 990, 110 into 990 is equal to 330 divided by under root 1,08,900, 108900. So you take the square root of it, you will get 330. So it will be equal to 330 divided by 330 is equal to 1. So what does so here the correlation coefficient is 1. Always remember that the correlation coefficient will always lie between -1 to +1. If the correlation coefficient is equal to 1, it means that the two variables are perfectly correlated. So here x and y are perfectly positively correlated. So if the correlation coefficient is equal to -1, then we say that the correlation coefficient are perfectly negatively correlated. If the correlation coefficient is equal to 0, we say that the two variables are uncorrelated. If the correlation coefficient is less than 0, we say that the correlation coefficient is negatively that the two variables are negatively correlated. If the correlation coefficient is greater than 0, we say that the two variables are positively correlated. So that was using the basic formula to find the correlation coefficient. Now we move on to another example. Calculate the coefficient of correlation between x and y series from the following data. So we are given summation xi minus x bar whole square is equal to 136. I runs from 1 to 15. Again summation yi minus y bar whole square is equal to 138. I run from 1 to 15. Summation xi minus x bar and yi minus y bar is equal to 122, such that I runs from 1 to 15. So here you are given I. You don't have to be confused at all. It doesn't mean any different. It is as similar to whatever we have done. It only tells us that here the we can understand from this that we have 15 variables from 1 to 15, and for that summation x minus x bar whole square is equal to 136, summation y minus y bar whole square is equal to 138, and summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar is equal to 122. we simply put it into the formula. Therefore correlation coefficient is denoted by R is equal to summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by under root summation x minus x bar whole square into summation y minus y bar whole square. We just put the values is equal to 122 divided by under root 136 into 138 is equal to 0.89. That is the required correlation coefficient. So we will discuss only this much till today for today's video. For the next video, we will discuss the application of the other alternate formula of finding the coefficient of correlation. That will make our work a lot more easier and convenient. I hope you all understand this, and I hope if you have any queries you get back to me and I will try to solve all your queries or doubts. Thank you.